We have the story from Insider. New video shows Roger Stone warning Trump will get his brains beat in if he runs for president again. So here's what I see. Let me see if where do I have this tweet? Okay, that's not it. Where did I put the tweet?
Jump scare.
Do I not have the? Okay. Oh, it's right here. It's literally right here. What was that? Jump scare? So here's a tweet from Christopher Goldbranson. It says, footage from January 20th, 2021. Stone supports impeaching Trump. Run again and you'll get your effing brains beaten. What you can notice right here is as I froze. Actually, let me just play the. Actually, I don't know if I can play the video because he swears a lot.
Yeah, a lot.
A lot. But in the video, and then he also makes a threat. You notice you can't see his mouth. His hand is covering his mouth. And he's saying, like, I'm going to come out in support of impeachment. I saw this video on Twitter. I didn't know about the greater context, but I noticed it looked really weird. And then I noticed, let me see if I can zoom in. I noticed something when I was watching it. Take a look at this as I play it slowly. Look at his mouth. You can't really see it, can you? And then we get to this point near the end, and just wait for it. And there it is, and boom.
Right there.
His mouth is gone. I understand video artifacting. It happens. But when I watched this video without any context, I saw that and it looked really strange to me because nothing else but his mouth artifacted. Nothing else.
Yeah.
It's perfectly just on his mouth. Nothing else. Usually you get artifacting, it's not going to be so specific. Mm-hmm. Now you can argue it's just a low quality, grainy video. But I saw that and I was just like, where did his mouth go? Why does his mouth just outright disappear right there? Like, what about the footage makes it just vanish? Typically, when you like I mentioned, artifacting doesn't isolate on a specific location when everything else is moving in the scene. Mm-hmm. Roger Stone later claimed it was a deep fake. And he said another deep fake video conflating my statements about Biden with Trump. I don't know any of that. I don't know who Christopher Goldbranson is and why I should believe he is a journalist of credibility or merit.
Right.
Well, this footage was actually provided to the January 6th panel. And obviously,
where's his mouth?
Roger is saying that it's a deep fake, but this was allegedly after Donald Trump told Roger Stone that he's not going to get a pardon. And Roger Stone allegedly blamed Ivanka Trump and Jared Kushner for this. And when we look at Ivanka Trump and Jared Kushner, they did represent more of the establishment wing of his political administration. And you know, this doesn't look good, whether it's fake or real. Roger Stone says it's fake. I don't know. I'm not an expert on this particular aspect, but when you look at the basic story, it kind of adds up. Is it real? Is it not? I don't know.
Look at this. Just look at this. Like,
that doesn't look real.
Why, if he's going to say a word, does his mouth vanish for no reason like that?
And the fact that even when his mouth is moving, his hand is covering it almost the entire time.
Exactly.
It's like how convenient.
That's very weird.
And my mind's kind of blown because when you showed me this before we went
What's the next frame? Just go back and forth between.
I did. Look.
Yeah.
His mouth is there as part of the shot.
Disappears.
Then it just disappears. And then you get that.
It looks weird.
Look at that right there.
Anyway, we get
look at that. That looks weird.
Version of this.
No, this is the version. This is the version that has got the 1 million views. Maybe it's real. Maybe I'm just weird. But look right there. See how his mouth doesn't line up with his cheek? Yeah. I don't know, man. Maybe I'm just making fun of Roger Stone for being ugly. Maybe it's a real video. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but ugly doesn't make your mouth disappear.
And you could maybe argue it's just low resolution footage and it's an artifact. But look, man, I edit videos all day, every day for only the mouth to disappear in that one frame. Watch the frame from this frame to the next. The only thing that artifacts is the mouth. I just think that's very weird.
And if it is a deep fake, it's kind of scary because Insider here is reporting it as fact.
Yeah. I'll tell you this. Yeah. If watching this and trying to be factual to the best of my abilities, my response is I don't know. However, if I was working privately, as someone who's been editing video for, I'm going on 24 or 5 years, I've been working in digital video editing. Since I was like 12 years old, I've been editing videos, working flash animations, designing websites and things like that. If someone privately came to me and said, this is video real, I'd say my opinion would be no.
Right.
As someone who's trying to report facts, I have no idea. Like, if I can't give you a definitive statement, I would just say I don't know. But my professional opinion, having worked with video, I have friends who do composite manipulation. We do some of this stuff for Cast Castle with the weird effects. This to me looks like they manipulated his mouth.
Or he could be a lizard person that's shape-shifting right now, right in the frame of this video. I'm joking.
Right.
I'm being facetious.
I just want to make sure it's clear. It's entirely possible. It's legitimate, real footage, and Roger Stone is just trying to weasel out. But I have a few questions if that's the case. Why would Roger Stone be embarrassed about something he willfully said in front of a camera crew that he invited to be in front of him?
Right.
Yeah.
This isn't an undercover video. They're doing a shoot.
Right. I mean, they're with him the whole time.
Yeah.
Why would he now go, oh no, they recorded me when I chose for them to be there in front of me recording me. When I grabbed my phone and said everything, I just don't, it just, the whole thing
Well, I'm
stinks.
performing for a camera. Yeah.
Right.
Well, it could be when he just got the news, he got overly emotional. Maybe, I don't know. But I'm just playing devil's advocate here. It could be a number of possibilities. It would be good if you get like a video expert to look at the video and the codec and to see exactly what it came from. If we could get a raw video sample and then go from there. But
Look at his mouth right here.
In
Look
this
at this-
day and
look at
age,
this. Look at his mouth.
We can't believe anything or anybody.
Look how his mouth, like, it could just be bad video. Like, I'll say,
That's
all right.
weird. Look at that, though. How it, like,
but you see on the top of his lip right there, how the side
Yeah.
of his lip curls up? You see
Yes.
kind of those darker pixels around the corner right there? That doesn't look normal at all.
No, not at all.
Your lips don't move like that. The
Oh,
shadows
and
don't
that
look
looked
like that either.
like...
Yeah, it's too weird.
His mouth isn't moving with his face in this frame.
No.
Like, look, when I watched this video before I knew anything about it, I thought it looked really weird because you can't see his mouth, and when you can, it behaves strangely. Then I saw a news story, I think it was The Hill or something, and I was like, what? And then they were like, Roger Stone claims it's a deep fake, and I was just like, yeah, that's weird.
Well, if it's a deep fake, it's a pretty scary precedent being set that they can just report it as facts and they deal with the ramifications afterwards.
People are also saying, look at the ear in the comments right now.
Oh.
And some people are saying it's a low bit rate.
Yeah, it could just be a low bit rate. I mean, to be completely honest, I don't want to. What about the ear? What's the ear doing?
I don't know. I'm just hearing a whole bunch of people in the chat room. Look at the ear. Look at the
I
ear.
don't
Look at the
see
ear.
anything with the
Oh,
ear.
did it kind of jump? His ear or something?
I mean, he's got a phone pressed up against it in a car that's moving. What's strange
Yeah.
to me is the way his mouth moves and the way his mouth is covered. I find that like his mouth disappears in this frame.
Yeah.
There's one other frame you went through that we didn't talk about where like the mouth like connects to the background. It was really weird.
Where?
I think you may have went a little past it now.
I just thought
Right there. That looks weird.
Yeah, to me, the
I
lips
don't
just
know.
look too unnatural.
I
but
think
who
it would be
knows?
really funny if it turns out the video is totally legit and we're just making fun of him for having a weird mouth.
Right. Yeah. That is a possibility here.
Like when I saw this, what looks strange to me is this looks like it's an anime character's face in this shot. Because for those that have watched anime, you'll know that they draw the head and then the mouth is separate. So you'll see lips, but the mouth moving and the lips aren't.
right.
Like, so this, I don't know. You know, hey, look, maybe we're just making fun of Roger Stone for being ugly, okay? Maybe that's it. Maybe that's all it is. I have no idea.
Who's to say?
All I know is if someone came to me and asked me if I thought it was authentic, I would immediately isolate the part where his mouth disappears and says, this doesn't look right. You know, the problem with video, it's a lot easier to check audio. Because with audio, you can see where breaks happen in the spectral analysis and things like that.
Yeah.
With video, you have the video, and people can easily be like, "It's grainy low res." Okay, well, why did he post a grainy low res? He certainly filmed this in 4K, didn't he?
Yeah, that's
But he
the camera
chose
crew.
to post the artifacted 480 version. Seriously, why? Serious question. Why is his hand covering his mouth the whole time? Why did Roger Stone agree to be interviewed and say all these things, but then deny he said them? And why did they post the low-res version? Look, I don't know who Christopher Goldbranson is. And I think if you blindly trust him, then I got a bridge to sell you. But it could be legit. For all I know. I don't know, man. Yeah, what do you think? You think Roger Stone actually turned on Trump and Ivanka and Jared and all that? Or do you think we got a dark future ahead of us where no-name people you've never heard of can post these things without risk their reputation, and that's why they do it?
Yeah, I think that is the future, right? I'm seeing more and more all the time. Like even on my Instagram discovery page, there'll be a video of like a celebrity and it looks so real and you click it and it's clearly not, you know? So it's getting better and better, which is pretty terrifying.
Well, he didn't get a second pardon. Kodak Black did, but not Roger Stone. So,
Right.
So maybe he's really, really mad.
could be, potentially.
He's saying that he was talking about Biden. I know journalists do that. They look,
Oh,
man.
yeah.
People, they ask like, should I do the interview with, you know, this mainstream company? I'm like, no. Because they'll say something like this. What's your least favorite food? What's your least favorite food? Like makes you sick.
I I'm really put on the spot. I like
What's the food from last night that I hated at the restaurant? It was the
Sauerkraut.
sauerkraut.
I'm like, you need
Yeah, I
to
don't
eat
like
more of
sauerkraut.
this.
Yeah.
Blair,
Okay.
eat more of this.
Let's say no to
How would you describe the taste of sauerkraut?
Well, it was like sour, but it was also like slimy. It was just nasty, cold.
And then what they'll do is they'll ask a different question and edit that question in front of your response.
Tim Pool is nasty, slimy, cold.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They'll be like, "How do you feel about Trump?" "Oh, it's just nasty and slimy and
Yeah.
cold." And then you'll be like, but I was asked a different question," and they'll say, "All we did was play a video of what you actually said.
Right.
Right. Yep.
We didn't take it, Now that's an extreme example, but I have seen
Oh, it
that
happens.
happen. Yep.
Yeah.
They play dirty games. They'll take two different quotes from you and put them together.
Yep.
Side by side and then say, "No, those are real quotes."
Well, here's how you do it in print journalism. You put a comma, he said, comma in between.
Exactly.
So it's just, I was sitting with Blair White. I say 10 more sentences, and then whatever I say at the end, just
Exactly.
take out those 10 sentences, put in comma, he said, and then
You
more
could-
quotes.
I-
That's
I-
the trick. That's the legal way to get around it in journalism. That's how
Yep.
slimy people do it.
You could say
I know,
something
'cause I
like,
remember.
"Did you vote for Trump?" Did you vote for Trump?
Yes.
So tell me about why you voted for Trump.
I felt like I was stuck in a rock in a hard place between him and Hillary.
Blair then went on to say that she felt sick, slimy, and cold.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's not
That it
that's
left
legal.
a slick, slimy, and cold taste in her mouth.
Yep.
Right.
Exactly. Yeah, that's how you get away
that
with
she
it.
experienced.
Uh-huh.
And the best part is they can even choose not to quote you if the quote isn't perfect. They'll say Blair then went on to express extreme disgust over a taste in her mouth.
Yeah.
So because the
That's
quote
how
would have
it's
been
done.
like sauerkraut's nasty.
Uh-huh.
They'll just say, and it's true and they get away with it.
And sometimes I don't even bother like trying to lie very well, because there was a Sun article that covered one of my videos talking about fat positivity. And the headline was like, "Woman says she hates fat people." And I never said that in the video. I'm like, how can you even says something I didn't say? The fuck?
Yeah.
Because it's an opinion.
Oh yeah, that's true.
That's the amazing thing is if you sued and be like, "I never said those words," they'll be like, "When we said says, we meant implied through action and words. We didn't say verbatim. We didn't put quotes on it," and they get away with it. I had a news outlet combine two different quotes that were 10 minutes apart to make a false quote.
Yep.
And then when the subject threatened to sue them, they corrected the article saying there was an error in my quote, as if to imply I'm the one who made a mistake. Talk about dirty.
That's slimy.
This is
I
why
had the
called them.
SPLC do that
Yeah.
to me as well. The Southern Poverty Law Center. They took a quote from the beginning of my speech and then brought another one all the way at the end to make me sound like I was calling for a violent revolution when I was calling for an evolution when it comes to people being responsible for themselves and smart. They cut all that out.
That's
It just
crazy.
made me sound like a violent lunatic on their hit list, which was absolutely
you go.
disingenuous, unfair, and illegal in many instances. And they were sued by other people successfully and had to retract a lot of that stuff. They deleted their
crazy.
falsehoods on me, but I made sure every conversation I had with them, I recorded it, and they were just blanket-faced
That doesn't work
liars.
though. People say like, if you do an interview, record it. No. Even if you record it, they're going to be able to lie about you. And your recording
Yep.
proves nothing because you don't reach their audience.
Very
You
fine
reach
people.
your audience.
Very fine people is a
Right,
perfect example
exactly.
of this. Perfect example of this.
You can listen to Trump
Yes.
saying, and I'm not talking about the white supremacists and the neo-Nazis because they should be condemned totally. And even though if you watch the raw video, you know he did not say these
Yes.
things, the media gets away with it.
Yeah. And you're right. You only reach your audience. It's like you can have a huge following and still get lied about. And that's the narrative forever, because it's not your audience.
They say sometimes like try and control as much of it as you can. And so my advice is if you're an expert in media relations and you have media training, then you should do the interviews and make sure you phrase everything as perfectly as possible to make it so they cannot do anything. Typically what I'll do when I respond to journalists is I give them very specific legal language. I know what I'm saying and how I'm saying it. I'll break words apart from other words so that simply put, I will give a very precise legal response, very, very, very precise, that if they attempt to misconstrue, I could argue actual malice. That's a thing you do. But if you don't know how to actually phrase things without them manipulating you, then they're going to do it. They're going to say, like I said, Blair then expressed an extreme taste of disgust in her mouth, as we went on carrying the conversation.
Slimy.
Yeah.
And that's true. So you have to make sure you line everything up very, very perfectly so that if they say that, you can then respond with, they have the email from me where I explicitly laid these points out, and thus it was actual malice when they presented that false narrative. Even if it's their opinion, if it's very clearly and the opposite of what you're saying, it's difficult to do. But I do weird things where I answer questions with like very strange sentences that will convey the idea but don't speak well. So you'll notice if you watch the last show with Ian, he was reading a quote from someone, from Biden, I think. It was a quote from Biden about Obama. And he said, Biden said, it's great that we have Barack Obama, and this is Biden saying it, that he's very articulate, and this was, again, Biden saying it, and that Obama is the first clean, again, Biden saying it, African-American, Biden said that, doing something like that so that they can't quote you without including all of that or putting a bunch of ellipses. You just make it very, very difficult for them to try and misconstrue what it is. That's like a rudimentary way to try and, but if you answer something like that, they usually will just don't even bother trying to incorporate what you said because it's too difficult to do. But you answered the question, and then they can't lie about it. Thanks for checking out this segment from the Timcast IRL podcast. But if you want to check out the full show live, tune in Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. And if you want more special access content, head over to timcast.com and become a member. Your membership helps sustain this company, keep our journalists employed, makes this show happen, and you will get access to exclusive members-only segments of the Timcast IRL podcast, and there's a massive library to check out. So again, go to timcast.com or tune in Monday through Friday at 8 p.m., and we'll see you all there.